This is the Nancy Stevens Lifestyle Show here on the New Horizon Radio.
Welcome to the Nancy Stevens Lifestyle Show here on New Horizon Radio. Now, my next guest is someone who genuinely makes you sit up and go, wow. With nearly 3 decades in the pharmaceutical industry, a global career spanning continents, and a passion for empowering women and a driving real change, she is the definition of inspiring. She is the founder of Naturally Tiwa Skincare, a champion for diversity in clinical trials, a leader bringing global brands into new markets, and she was awarded an MBE in the 2024 New Year's Honours for services to international trade and women in business. But beyond all that, she's also a mum of 3, a mentor, and someone who truly believes that everything and anything is possible. I'm absolutely delighted to welcome Shalom Lloyd MBE to the show. Shalom, welcome.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. That's me, isn't it?
It is you.
Oh, my goodness.
Welcome back. So you are the only guest, apart from Elsa, that has been on my show twice. So
I'm honoured. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. And I mean, you've had such an incredible global career, from studying pharmacy in the Ukraine to working across international markets. But take me back to the beginning. You know, what inspired you to go into pharmacy? Because that wasn't really a woman's world.
No, it wasn't, but I am proudly of Nigerian heritage. So I'm British Nigerian, born to amazing parents. My parents were, I would say they were natural born entrepreneurs, had 5 children, 4 boys and myself, and they actually divided this into what they wanted their children to be. They wanted a doctor, a lawyer, an architect, a banker. So we had kind of predefined roles, and anyone who has African heritage can relate to this because it's all the same. I hear it all the time. I was a disappointment, actually. I didn't want to go to med school. But pharmacy was the next best thing. And I was such a nerd, very good at my sciences. So I thought, well, why not?
I mean, that's, let's be honest. I mean, with what they wanted, they must be more than thrilled. I mean, you must have exceeded expectations as a daughter. And I know we always want to please our parents, which is ridiculous. And I don't know why we do that, but we do. But, your parents must have been so proud of you.
I hope so. My father passed, but my mom's still with us. So I think even before Dad died, I think he was really proud. I hope they're both proud, really.
Yeah, I mean, and it's incredible. As you said, it's a very African thing, or very Indian thing as well.
Yes.
So, you had, doctors, lawyers, accountants. Why do you think that is?
I don't know, but the thing is, you'd think that since I'm sort of raised here in the UK that I'd be different, but I'm exactly the same with my children. The whole education is everything. I was raised to believe, and I do believe, that education is a key to everything. Knowledge is power, and I want my children to be the same. And for me, it's not about having prescribed roles for them. I want you to be X, Y, Z, but I want you to be the best that you can be and reach that potential. I think it's really encouragement for me. Our parents always thought that we could be better. And I believe that, raising my children to be bigger and better than me in whatever they choose to do. That's really important.
And absolutely. And it's also that nature versus nurture and nurture versus nature thing as well. It's really interesting. And I think we touched on this last time. It is really, having been brought up in Africa as well, very different upbringing to you, but it is different, but it's also the same because, I've been in the UK longer than I lived in Africa now.
Same here.
But I still, my roots are still firmly
Oh,
African.
very much so. And I think as I get older, my roots keep pulling me back. And I now want more and more to show my children their dual heritage, because I still love that sense of the culture, the community, the respect. I love all those things. They're ingrained in my DNA. So yeah, that makes me really happy that we're living that sort of dual culture. Nothing wrong with it. I think it's great.
Absolutely. And coming up, we're going to talk about your desire to study abroad, and that must have shaped you in so many ways. And why this global ambition though? Because that's big.
It certainly wasn't by design. I've always been a strong believer in it's better to be prepared and not have an opportunity than to have an opportunity and not be prepared. I always prepare for what I really don't know what's coming next, but just be prepared to embrace whatever it is. I'm really proud of that. At the age of 16, I went to Ukraine. It was the USSR at the time, and 6 years of my life studied there and came back to the UK with my BSc and MSc in pharmacy, that really shaped the core of who I am. Think about a 16-year-old going to a country where she knew no one, didn't speak the language, and had to survive. No matter what I'm going through today, I still go back to that 16-year-old and say to myself, oh my goodness, come on now. If she could do it, what's wrong with you? What's your problem? Just get on with it. Get over yourself.
Yeah, and I think also, we were talking off air earlier about, stuff that we've both been through together, and when you're in it and in a sort of the maelstrom of stress and life just couldn't possibly get any worse, you've got to go back to your younger self and think,
yes.
But I came to the UK at 21, didn't know anybody, you went to the Ukraine, we did it, and
absolutely.
that was brave and ballsy.
There's power in that. There's strength in that. And I always, when people ask you about, if you saw your younger self, what would you say to them? I talk to that younger self all the time, because that young girl went through so much, dealt with so much confidence, with dignity, with pride. So why should the older self be any different?
And yeah, absolutely. But I think, and again, talking off air, we just sort of the good thing about being older is not giving a damn.
It's not giving a damn. Honestly, I could say it even more crudely, but I'm on air. But
I know.
You just don't give a damn. You still care about the things you care about. The essence of you is still there, but you stop caring about what the outside world sees you at, wants you to be. You just stop caring about that. That self-love and happiness becomes paramount. And anything, any noise that disrupts that, you just don't care about. You just block it out.
And I know, and it is so liberating. And I say to my younger clients, I just sort of say, there's a lot about getting older that I don't love. It's my 60th year. I don't love the fact that I have to wear glasses every second of every day. That, I'm riddled with arthritis and stuff. But everything else is so good, and the wisdom that comes with getting older, and I say not giving a damn. And again, it doesn't mean that you don't care. It means you care about things that are worth caring about.
You care about things differently, don't you? And I think the things we tend to focus on are the negatives. That's just human nature. We forget all these amazing things that are happening around us, all these wonderful things going on, and we tend to focus on the things that we don't have. And as you get older, you start to think that's such a waste of time. There's so much beauty, so much wonder, so much love, so much, oh my goodness, that are going on. And I rather focus on those right now. I still get the times where I think, this is not right. But yeah, that's a waste of time.
Absolutely. and it's also about, I think it's about living your life to the absolute full. I mean, I often get my younger sort of counterparts going, God, do you ever rest? You're going to have a day off, or you never stop. And I think, but why would I?
Why should you?
Why should I? Why would I?
That's
you're
right.
a long time dead. I can rest when I'm dead. I can sleep when I'm dead.
That was my grandfather's saying, I would rest when I'm dead. Everything I do, I totally enjoy. My mantra is 3 things: purpose, impact, profit. If I'm doing things that they sort of fulfill some sort of purpose and they impact myself, my children, my family, my community, my world, ultimately, purpose plus impact will equals profit.
Oh, I love that. Well, coming up, we're going to be talking about the fact that you've broken so many barriers, and your business is all about diversity. And we're talking about sort of breaking barriers and diversity, and you've been such a real advocate for diversity and inclusion, particularly in the pharma space. Tell me about some of the work you're doing with emerging market quality trials, and why representation in clinical trials is so important.
I've been in the pharma industry, drug development, for nearly 30 years now, and that is a huge, huge passion of mine. I'm a scientist at heart and absolutely love it. Realizing that although patients of African descent make up about 17% of the population, less than 3% of people who look like me are included in clinical trials. So basically...
Sorry, I didn't interrupt. That's shocking. That's a shocking statistic. Why is that still a thing? Why are we even discussing that?
It is still a thing, and it, from both sides as well, because what that means really is we have people, let's say Africa, who are taking medication. The medication they're taking hasn't necessarily been tested on them for efficacy and how it impacts them. And emerging market quality trials was formed or founded to do just that. It's a company I'm really, really proud of. Born and bred here in MK, of course. But my colleague, Dr. Tina Barton, and myself will travel across Africa, train and qualify in centers of excellence to get them to be ready to run clinical trials for global pharma companies. We work in Gabon, Congo, Tanzania, Nigeria, and different African countries running different projects. It's so much fun. But again, if you think about what I said, purpose, impact, profit. We're not an NGO. We're a commercial organization, but that purpose is there. The impact on lives is there. And the profit comes. So for me, it's really about getting pharma companies to recognize that by 2050, Africa will represent a third of the world's population, has the youngest population in the world. It has become a continent that can no longer be ignored. Simple as that.
Absolutely, and that's a really interesting statistic. And when you say it like that, I think, but that's still quite a long way away. 2050 is still an awfully long time for people to have to wait, and lives will be lost. I mean, that's quite a sobering thing to.
It is.
To
We take advantage. I mean, when people talk about the NHS here, I say, don't say a damn bad word about it, because what's the alternative? People, when you go around these countries, you see how lucky we are here. And what we're trying to do is one person at a time, one site at a time, actually the capability building, the capacity building to get the rest of the world to see that Africa is ready. Pharmaceutical companies go to the same site, the same countries, all the time. The diversity of the data needs to come in there, and that's what we're all about.
Yeah, I'm still blown away by that 2050. I mean, that's still, way too, but yeah, you're going about the right way, and we've got to start somewhere. And I think also, I feel really bad now because I was moaning about the NHS, but I'm going.
No, I'm on about it all the time.
Yeah,
it doesn't mean we don't appreciate
exactly,
it, but
I'm finding it incredibly frustrating at the moment. But in the main, I will be, as someone who comes from a third world country, if people are moaning, I'm very hypocritical. I'm going, stop moaning about, because we are lucky. We have an NHS that in the main does work. And I've definitely got a frog in my throat, apologies. So I'm talking to Shalom Lloyd I want to talk about Naturally Tiwa, the product that I personally have used and am passionate about. But I just want to ask about the fact that you've sort of set up this incredible skincare and hair care range that's all about natural, sustainable, chemical-free products and empowering African women. What inspired you to start the brand, and what makes it different? Because I know personally what I love, and before I forget, I just have to say this, hands down.
Yes, you love your carry, don't you? I love that. I think about the message you sent me on WhatsApp to say, oh my God, but it made my day completely, because I love hearing that feedback, because it reminds me of my why I started this company in the first place. I
mean, it is the most phenomenal hair care product, and I have tried loads. And having menopausal hair, I mean, I would say before I started using these products, my hair was I was really struggling, and I'd always had a decent head of hair, but menopause, affected it, and it was quite thin. But now it feels thick and luscious. And even my hairdresser said, "Oh my God, your hair looks so healthy. What are you using?" And I said, "This product," and it lasts an awfully long time. You don't need a lot of it.
Yes.
And that's £20, the best money I've ever spent. It smells amazing, and I said my hair has never felt better. But anyway, enough about me. Back to what started you. Why did you start the brand?
Is again the pharmaceutical world was my world, or is still my world, and I never thought that I would move anywhere away from that. But I went through 4 cycles of IVF and eventually gave birth to my twins 12 years ago, Joshua and Amara. Joshua was born with severe eczema. He was scratched to he bled, and I have every respect for the pharmaceutical industry, the medicines that we produce, but I didn't want to use any chemicals on this newborn child, put steroids on him or anything, because I felt that guilt. 4 cycles of IVF, pumping myself with chemicals, and then I put more chemicals on this kid. That sort of mum sort of guilt kicked in, and I just thought I could actually find something that would work for him naturally. Started mixing in my kitchen with shea butter, unrefined shea butter as a base, wanting to do 3 things: reduce his inflammation, redness, and itching. Simple. If I could do those 3 things, Joshua would have, better quality of life. stumbled across my Eureka formulation, as I call it, and within 3 days, Josh's skin transformed. And that is what started Naturally Tiwa Skincare. I became obsessed with skin conditions: eczema, psoriasis, dermatitis, keratosis pilaris. There are 900 million people on our planet who suffer from a skin condition. 1 in 5 children in the UK born with eczema. I wanted something that would help them manage it. It's not a cure, it's a natural cosmetic product, but those 3 things, reducing inflammation, redness, and itching. So my business was just built around that. Naturally Tiwa was built around that, finding solutions for skin and managing and battling skin conditions. And then, of course, it evolved based on my customers. I started going through menopause myself, and then working a lot with people going through chemotherapy and radiotherapy, and realizing that actually the skin tells a story. 75% of people going through chemo and radiotherapy experience level of skin toxicity. They need something clean, green, natural, nourishing, feeding. So Naturally Tiwa now became a go-to for those cancer patients and a go-to for menopausal women as well, such as myself. That was really, really important to me, to be able to find something that's all natural. Because you have a choice. You go into any shop, supermarket, it's so overwhelming. And I wanted us to stay in our lane. Our niche is all about solutions for problems. Do you have menopausal skin? Are you going through cancer treatment? Do you have a skin condition? And it's from cradle to grave, really. Are you a newborn like my Joshua was? Or are you like me, over 50 and going through menopause? We're there for you.
And you're right, because there is so much... there's so much choice out there, but it's utterly bewildering. But once you start looking at ingredients, you're thinking, okay, this is, it's a bit like I bang on about this a lot with Elsa and, like Halo Foods, purporting to be good, and they're actually not.
The skin is the largest organ in your body. It covers everything. It's the largest organ, so it absorbs over 60% of what you put on it. So what you put in your mouth, as in food that you eat, what you put on your skin is as important as that. That's really critical for people to know. And the science bit, people confuse people a lot. They talk about all these actives and everything, big names. For me, it was about stripping it back and keeping it simple, going back to basics. Know the ingredients. If you can't pronounce it and think, okay, what is that? And find out what it is you're putting on your body, on your children's body, on whoever's body. That's really, really important to me.
It's so true. And I think also your skin is such a barometer of how you're feeling.
It tells you a story of everything that you're going through internally. Absolutely.
It really does. And I know that when I'm stressed, my eczema comes back with a vengeance. I haven't had eczema in years, and I know that, because health-wise I'm suffering a little bit at the moment. And it's manifesting itself through my skin. So it's so heartening to know that there are products out there, and sometimes, as you say, you're not saying don't use steroids, because there is a time and a place.
Absolutely.
And that's what medicine is for. And,
absolutely.
When you have an incredibly bad bout of eczema, as my kids did, steroids were the only way. But you want something that's going to manage it. Natural. Yeah.
Oh, you're speaking my language. Yeah. Definitely. I mean, that's the way to do it. I respect the medicines out there, but sometimes you want something that would actually all natural, that will help manage, that will help nurture, that will help feed, because Mother Nature is very, very powerful. The efficacy in natural products is undeniable.
Absolutely. And Shalom, we're talking about your achievements, of which there are many. The Body Shop in Nigeria, and receiving your MBE, and when you look back, there's so much. I know having your children is the thing you're most proud of, but
yes.
Apart from your babies, what is the thing that you're most proud of? And for women who are sort of, listening, thinking about sort of starting out and stepping into something sort of bigger, what would you say to them?
Think it, say it, do it. It's that simple. Think it, say it, do it. I get this thing where people say, you're doing so much. Every single thing I do, I love, I enjoy, I laugh about. It drives me crazy. I cry about. I love, I have fun with. Because I enjoy everything I do so much, it ceases to be a chore for me. bringing the Body Shop, an iconic British brand, for the first time into West Africa, into Nigeria, was absolutely phenomenal. I still pinch myself and think, I walk into those stores, you walk into the Body Shop in Abuja, in Nigeria, and it looks exactly like the Body Shop in Milton Keynes. They just look, it feels bizarre. I walk into Milton Keynes, I think, oh my God, we did that.
You did this.
Oh my goodness, you know, and Anita Roddick, God rest her soul. Oh my, that woman was...
She was a pioneer, wasn't she?
She was a gangster. And I just aspired to be that kind of gangster. She was just brilliant. She was so ahead of her time. Sustainability is now a buzzword. She lived it. She was breathing this stuff. It was about good business, doing the right thing. And it just so fit with my brand, Naturally Tiwa Skincare. Sustainability is our middle name. You know what I mean? Planet hugging. Everything we do hugs the planet. So you can see the correlation between that and the Body Shop. So it made perfect sense. I felt, and I know today, I was the right and ideal person to take this brand into the continent, into West Africa, because it's well known, and the give back element, the female empowerment element is just undeniable. It ticked every single box for me. And today, going back, we have a store in Abuja, we have 2 stores in Lagos, in the mainland and island, and it's just phenomenal. And you have to look behind that and say, we have 27 staff now that work for the Body Shop in Nigeria, and growing. These are lives that you're touching. These are people that you're empowering. These are people that you're training, developing. I can't stop smiling about it. It feels amazing. I keep thinking we've done that. We did that. We're doing it.
And your passion is utterly, utterly contagious. And the Body Shop, as you say, is such an iconic British brand. I mean, you know, who does... I remember Dewberry oil.
Dewberry. Dewberry's back, by the way.
I know, I saw it. And we've gone down the whole nostalgia route. And I love that because, you know, those smells and that whole ethos of the Body Shop, as you said, Anita Roddick was so ahead of her time.
Yep.
And people just didn't really get her because, you know, sustainability... What was that even? But it was now... Everybody who's anybody wants to be sustainable, and let's be honest, there's a lot of greenwashing going on. And I see it in some very well-known stores that are not a million miles from here, who are purporting to be, you know, sustainable brands and, you know, planet huggers, and they are actually not. And you really, really need to be a label reader.
That's right. Anita Roddick did something phenomenal. She's no longer with us, but her legacy lives on in the fact that when I go to Body Shop HQ in Brighton and meet the guys at the HQ, Seppi, Sean, Sarah, and all these amazing women, Jenny, they've been there 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, and they still believe in the core values. And they've supported us, held our hand every which way to make sure that our stores in Nigeria are living up to that on a daily basis. My goodness, how can that not make your heart sing?
It is phenomenal. And coming up, we're going to talk about the MBE. I mean, the MBE. Yeah. We're going to talk about that because that, for you, apart from having your children and the Body Shop and all the other incredible things that you've achieved, MBE. We'll talk about that in a sec. Those 3 letters are incredible. How did a little girl with, you know, big dreams ever foresee this happening?
I don't know. I never saw it coming, if I'm being honest. I never saw it coming. I used to see people's names with these 3 letters behind them. I think, oh, they must be very important. Oh my goodness, you know. I never really looked at what it meant. I just thought, you know, they've been given some sort of honor. Great. I remember the day. That letter is dated the 16th of November 2023. Got this letter in the post, and on the stamp bit it said, you know, Buckingham Palace, and I thought, oh God, what have I done now?
Is this a wind up?
Is this a wind up? Opened the letter, and it had this whole spiel about, you know, His Majesty, you've been chosen, all this stuff, and I thought, oh no, this has got to be some sort of scam. It has to be. This doesn't happen to me. And there's a number there, and I rang the number. Say I received this. I don't think it's me. And I remember the lady at the other end of the phone. She must get these calls all the time, saying to me, you know, I could check, you know, what's your name? I said Shalom Lloyd, and she goes, oh, okay, so I can't find your name on the system. And I was like, yeah, I knew it was a scam. And she said, no, hang on. how does your name appear on your passport? And I said, Shalom Ijoma Lloyd. And she said, oh, there you are. Congratulations. I just burst out crying. Like,
Well, that's giving
how?
That has
I'm like,
literally
how?
given me
What?
goosebumps, yeah.
And my other question to her was, why? I've stopped asking myself why now and embracing everything that I've got, because I think everything I've achieved in my life and done, I think it's deserving. But I used to ask, well, why? Why me? Why? What have I done for services to international trade and women in business? When I sit back or stand back now and turn around and look, every dot connects. It makes sense to me. I'm really, really proud of it. And going to Windsor and Princess Anne pinning that thing on me with my son, so I'm going to get emotional, with my firstborn present looking at his mother and thinking, oh my God, that's my mom.
This is my mum. What a great role model.
It's just crazy. And my older brother was there and looking at them and them looking at me. I'm thinking, is this really happening? And I'm standing there and Princess Anne talking to me. I was given all these instructions about, you don't turn around. You kind of have to step back. I think I've forgotten everything. I'm going to mess this up. And she told me she had eczema as a child. I'm thinking, how does she know about all these things? I just think, when I said about think it, say it, do it. Honestly, think it, say it, do it. Failure is an option. If you fail at it, I've failed at so many things. Just try again. Think it, say it, do it. If you don't, you'd never know. You just never know. And that day, I think it was the 6th of March, 2024? Oh my goodness, I'll never forget that day. I'd never forget the outfit I wore.
I was going to say, what did you wear? How did you choose what to wear?
I had this amazing woman in Nigeria who actually makes made to measure. And wanted a lot of the things I've done pay homage to Africa. The ingredients from Naturally Tiwa Skincare. We have our factory in Africa where we make the ingredients and bring them to manufacture here. EMQT, we're training sites and hospitals in Africa. So all roads seem to lead to Africa. Supporting the UK economy, of course, we're British brands and British companies, but I wanted to wear something that paid homage to Africa. So I had this lady make this outfit for me, and it was perfect. I looked amazing that day, if I say so myself. I loved it, and it was so surreal. So surreal. And I had quite a bit to drink when I got home that night, thinking this isn't happening. Just a bit tipsy and thinking, Shalom Lloyd MBE.
Utterly deserved. But don't you think as women, though, I mean, I get this a lot, and obviously I'm not putting myself in the same category as you in terms of being not, sort of having an award or anything, but people say to me, you're so lucky. And that kind of annoys me because I don't think luck comes into it. I work really hard to get all the opportunities that I do. And, ostensibly what you see on social media is a product of a lot of hard work. So when people say, oh, you're so lucky, or worst case scenarios, I say, oh, I'm so lucky. And I think, why am I saying this? This is absolute nonsense. I feel blessed, but I've worked hard, damn hard for those opportunities.
Agree.
Not one person has come to me and said, oh, would you like this? Yeah, I'm just going to give this to you on a plate. I've gone and got it. I've walked into Waterstones and said, can I work with you? Can I be a book reviewer? All the opportunities that come ahead, come to me, I have approached.
You make your own luck. That's for me, it's about that hardcore grafting. I think to myself, well, you started this. My twins are 12. I started Naturally Tiwa Skincare after they were born. EMQT after my father passed away from cancer, and I realized that he had no clinical trials in Africa we could enroll him into, and I thought we'll have to change that. So it's been grafting for years and years and years. And people think, oh, you woke up like this. No, absolutely not. I am proud of everything that I've done. And that MBE was validation that you're doing something right. You're making a difference. You're giving back, and you're making an impact somehow in the world. And yes, I know I am, and I claim that. It took me a long time to get to this point where I used to think, I'm really lucky. And one of my really good friends, Dr. Barton, would say to me, no, mate, you're not lucky. You've worked bloody hard for it. You've been grafting. I've gone through phases where I thought, Naturally Tiwa, I've got to close it down because I can't afford it. It's not doing well. There's no sales coming in. I've got to close it down. Oh my goodness, trademark litigation issue, this and that. 2 years in EMKT, we didn't have a single piece of work coming from any pharma company. We had to survive somehow. And then people look at you and think, oh, you woke up like this. No, I didn't wake up like this. It was hardcore grafting, blood, sweat, and tears. However, when you get to the point where you start to see the fruits of your labor, you've also got to stand back and say, I earned this.
I love it. I deserve it.
I deserve it.
Worthy.
I am worthy.
Yeah. I am worthy. We are worthy.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And we're going to be talking now about something that is difficult and potentially, it is an intimate subject. So yeah, we're going to be talking about intimate health. And Shalom and I are talking about intimate health. You've got an event coming up. And we've been talking a lot about women's health, particularly those conversations that don't sort of happen enough. You're hosting an event with the wonderful Elsa Petri of
Yes,
Collective.
yes.
Don't sweat it. Let's talk women's intimate health matters. Tell me more about it. And why do you think these conversations are so difficult to have?
They are difficult to have because, I mean, personally, talking about myself, I didn't realize how prude I was, to be honest. I didn't really like talking, honestly, you know. But one of the things I've realized is that intimacy should never hurt. And we talk about menopause mainstream now a lot more, which is a great thing. But all I hear is hot flushes and collagen and brain fog and people don't like to talk about
the down there bit.
The down there bit.
It's that bit. And yeah, it's a very British thing. We don't want to talk about the down there bit.
It's not just British, you know. I did an event in Abuja where people were a bit like, didn't really want to come out and talk about it. And I had to go out there and say, listen, this is what I'm going through before people opened up. The fact is, vaginal dryness is real.
It sure is.
Let me say that again. Vaginal dryness is real. When you get to a certain age, it is real, and it's part of the sort of side effect, as it were, of being perimenopausal or menopausal. And women are going through this, and we're going through this silently. We just don't talk about it. And there's a sisterhood that we need to change that and start talking. And that's what I want to do. I want to change that narrative and bring it to the fore. Intimate dryness can happen for many reasons, whether it's hormonal changes that can happen, whether it's medical treatments, or skin sensitivity, or simply life. It happens, and it's like the Sahara Desert down there.
It is. Thing is, it's horrible. It's really, because as you say, it's not a popular choice to talk about. Yeah,
it's not a popular choice to talk about, but we tend to. The things we women have to change it ourselves, you know, because when we talk about skincare, you know, everybody's doing buying the whole stuff. Well, what about down there? That's part of our body as well. So for me, it's about changing that and saying that, you know, we talk about womanhood, motherhood. It's about that area. That's what brings our children to that. That's the sex, enjoyment of life, and it's part of life. Why shouldn't we talk about it? Particularly when we get to a certain age, you start to realize things are changing everywhere else, and down there is no exception. So intimate care is very important. So it's about having those conversations, and I created an amazing all-natural lubricant that is all natural, that's hormone free, and that can give women that voice back and trigger those conversations. That's really, really important to me. Although our product will support women experiencing menopause and perimenopausal dryness, cancer treatments, people going through chemotherapy and radiotherapy, vaginal dryness is an offshoot of that. People going through lupus and treatments as well. And we find that lichen sclerosis, sensitivity down there, or anyone seeking for better comfort, intimacy. So it's not just about solving a problem, it's also to help people, to couples or, you know, self, to enhance and to start to enjoy ourselves and realize that pleasure is also down to us. What I found is that, I might get shot for this, but what I found is that a lot of women, myself included, have been raised and have grown up to feel as though intimacy is something we do for men. The man should be pleasured, and forget ourselves all the time. But we're important. It's not a luxury.
Absolutely. I could not agree with you more. I mean, it's got to be a mutual thing. But for so long, as they traditionally, I think women were told, it's all about the man, but
Correct.
absolutely is not. It's about both of us.
Correct. We have to think about ourselves and what I call the ooh-ah moments where women experience that. I talked about this when I ran an event, and I talked about how many people get ooh-ah moments. And they were, well, what is an ooh-ah moment? It's like it's during intimacy when you're with your partner, husband, whoever. And he's enjoying himself, and all of a sudden you fade out. You're thinking, oh God, I gotta buy more sugar, more milk, and then you realize, ooh, I'm making a list in my head, and you come back and you're like, ooh, ah, and then you're off again. We've all experienced that, and that's because it's almost as if we don't feel self-deserving, that we deserve that pleasure. We do. That's important.
So what's the name of your product and the event date's 30th of
It's
April.
the 30th of April.
Limited spaces. We're going to put it on your
spaces,
socials.
Absolutely. Uto is the name of our product, UTO. Again, paying homage to where I'm from, back in Africa, my roots. Uto means pleasure in my father's language. Uto is everything that I dreamt for it to be. It took me 18 months to formulate this, and women are loving it so far, and men are loving it too. It's not about excluding men, because the feedback I'm getting from men is lovely. I've never felt this
Happy
educated.
wife, happy life.
Exactly. I've never felt this educated and liberated and naughty at the same time, in the best possible way, because the feedback we're getting from men is that, oh, it's wonderful, it feels good, it's tasteless. I'm thinking, okay, to each their own, but it's amazing. So at this event, we want to give women the chance to open up, talk about what you're experiencing. Let's talk together and get solutions for this thing, because it is there. We're all going through it. So I'm looking forward to working with Elsa. She's amazing. She's incredible, and actually bringing these conversations to the fore.
So 30th of April, 6:15 in the John Lewis Discovery Room. I'll pop the details on my socials. How can we find you on the socials?
At Naturally Tiwa, or at Shalom Lloyd. I'm there. Just type in Shalom. There's not many Shalom Lloyds in this world, so
There's only one Shalom
There's only
Lloyd.
one Shalom Lloyd.
One of a kind. You are utterly unique.
Thank you. And we're also giving people free samples at the moment, where we're saying, you get a sample of this thing, try it out, give us feedback, and get in our community the camaraderie, the womanhood, the sisterhood, and saying, we've got this. This is for us, by us.
Thank you so much. As always, and joy. We could have talked for hours. I think what really stands out is what you've achieved, what you continue to achieve on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, inspiring women out there. So thank you so much, Shalom. It's been
Thank you for having me. Thank you. You're amazing. I say thank you so much for lifting voices, raising voices, bringing conversations that people dare not talk about to the fore. Love it.
Always, that's what I'm here to do. And I say thank you so much. Thanks for joining me. And on next week's show, I'm talking about my trip to Germany to see my son perform in a K-pop band. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is my life. What I really thought of the Berlin Wall, hobnobbing on the red carpet for the Panto Awards with Joe McElderry, Vernon Kay and Brian Conley. There'll be theatre, movie and fashion news. Do tune in and have an utterly fabulous week.